Hello everyone, welcome to the Anime Recap Media YouTube channel. Please like the video, subscribe to help our channel and enjoy this full video.
Our protagonist trying to cope with his murderous habits. He spots Anna Yamada, a popular girl at his school and someone he wants to murder the most. He dreams about murdering her every night and doesn't like himself for it. Our protagonist flees to the library and spots Yamada eating some onigiri. He hides behind a bookshelf and spies on Anna. He finds her humming and hand gestures strange, proceeding to conjure a scheme to murder her. He notices Yamada's working on a social studies project and forgot her box cutter. He ponders what would happen if he lent Yamada his box cutter. After seeing her rip paper the old-fashioned way, our protagonist lends Yamada his cutter. Yamada thanks him and he retreats behind the bookshelf. The bell rings, and Yamada leaves with his box cutter in her pencil case. As Yamada's classmate presents their project, the protagonist notices that Yamada looks depressed, leaving him angered. The group presents their project, and he spots Yamada crying in the distance. Suddenly, someone hears helicopters flying in the distance. Everyone looks in Yamada's direction. The protagonist uses his box cutter to tear up his project so no one will spot Yamada crying. His group partners scold him while Yamada asks her friend about the helicopter, proving he did it all for nothing. Later, our protagonist is walking down the street, questioning why he and Yamada keep crossing paths. He heads into a nearby bookstore to find the CIEL magazine Yamada discussed with her friends the other day. He finds the magazine, Yamada, and other girls in the store and hides somewhere. He watches Yamada acting strange toward them and wonders if she's trying to get noticed. She continues the act for a while but eventually leaves. Our protagonist heads home and looks into the CIEL magazine and sees several photos of Yamada. He throws it out and questions why he's getting worked up by the situation. In a flashback, we learn our protagonist's name is Kiyotaro Ichikawa. Kiyotaro heads to school and spots Yamada with another boy named Haruya. Kiyotaro questions if he's her boyfriend. He overhears them talking about lying. Kiyotaro follows them and overhears them discussing things like social media and ice cream. They stop, and Haruya demands Yamada add him online. Kiyotaro doesn't want to admit that he cares about Yamada's situation. He believes he's a messed up person, and resorts to sending his bike toward the two at incredible speeds. It misses and lands in the water. One of Yamada's friends tells her about the situation, and Yamada asks Kiyotaro why he did it. He cracks a quick joke, and Yamada laughs. Kiyotaro reflecting on the library being his safe space, and how he doesn't want anyone to enter it. At the same time, he spies on Yamada and notices she's eating candy for kids. Yamada struggles to find water to craft for her meal, and she spills water on the floor. Kiyotaro cleans it up, and Yamada arrives and says she planned to clean it later. She notices they only have 3 minutes of recess time left and hurries to get the water. Kiyotaro rushes to the home economics room to get her a glass. He returns to discover Yamada managed to get enough water to make her treat. Yamada notices Kiyotaro drinking from a glass and hands him her trash. She says he can keep it. He highlights Yamada's closest friend Kobayashi. He likes to refer to Kobayashi as Yamada's boyfriend and notes how Kobayashi doesn't ever complain. In the library, Yamada asks Kiyotaro to pass his fan over, and she says it's one of those fans that smell amazing. Yamada tells Kiyotaro to take a whiff, and as he smells the fan he notices that Yamada's wearing her swimming attire underneath her school attire. Yamada receives a phone call from Moeko and hides under the table. She asks Kiyotaro to cover the seat and hide her. Kobayashi enters the room and asks Kiyotaro where Yamada is. Kobayashi sits at the table, and Kiyotaro feels bothered. Kobayashi shares a tale about her and Yamada and says she likes eating. Kobayashi states how jealous she is of Yamada's personality and looks, while Yamada reveals herself and confirms Kobayashi's claims that she likes hearing people praise her. Yamada and Kobayashi leave. After summer break, the students prepare for the upcoming cultural festival. Kiyotaro's class is in charge of working on the haunted house. Yamada asks Kiyotaro if he can help with the decorations. Kiyotaro assists Hara with advice but gets distracted by Hara's chest. Suddenly, Yamada jumps out and scares Kiyotaro. Hara finishes and leaves, just as Yamada notices a gravestone drawing with her family's last name written on it. Kiyotaro wonders if Hara wrote it because she has a vendetta against Yamada. Adachi grabs Kiyotaro and asks if he wrote it. To avoid a conflict between both girls, Kiyotaro admits he did it. Adachi wants to beat Kiyotaro up to impress Yamada, but fortunately, Hara arrives and tells the class she wrote it because she was writing common last names and plans to erase the names. Kiyotaro helps Hara erase them, as Yamada huddles near him and apologizes while Kobayashi tells her to come over and practice her haunted house routine. Kiyotaro writes his family's name on the gravestone and heads to one of the stalls to wash his hands. He questions what Yamada meant by her apology when suddenly, Yamada startles him, and wonders if she'd be scarier if she was bloody. She starts messing with the paint, so Kiyotaro shows her how to make the paint look more like actual blood. They have a small intimate moment together, but Kiyotaro gets flustered and leaves. The culture festival begins, and Kiyotaro spots Haruya. Haruya joins Yamoda and her friends in the fun, and although Kiyotaro has his qualms with Haruya, he recognizes that Haruya's not all bad since he helped retrieve his bike from the river. Kiyotaro and Yamoda head into an exhibit that highlights their town. They find a map on the ground, and Kiyotaro learns he lives close to Yamoda. Kiyotaro asks if he can take a picture, and Yamoda takes his phone so they can shoot a selfie. This flusters him out since he wanted to take a photograph of the map, but he clenches his phone and likes the photo they took together. Kiyotaro contemplating an idea for a story. Afterwards, Kiyotaro visits the school nurse because he has a headache. He learns Yamoda visited the office because she's having stomach problems, so Yamoda pulls out some candy from her pocket and hands Kiyotaro a pill for his pain. He finds a cup and notices Yamoda used it earlier. He struggles to take the medicine but forcefully swallows the pill when Yamoda startles him. Yamoda leaves, but Kiyotaro notices Yamoda left her gym clothes behind but struggles to grab them. The nurse returns and throws Yamoda's clothes on Kiyotaro, telling him to return those to her. Kiyotaro attempts to return Yamoda's clothes, but she flees to the nurse's office to secure her candy. Kiyotaro returns to class to continue working on his story. Adachi hands Kiyotaro a letter to give to Yamoda. Kiyotaro doesn't want to get into trouble with Adachi, so he hands Yamoda the letter. However, he hands Yamoda his drawing of his female protagonist instead. Kiyotaro leaves the room to look at Adachi's letter, where he discovers Adachi just wanted Yamoda's line address. Yamoda enters the room and notices someone at her chips. Yamoda grabs Kiyotaro's hand and realizes he didn't eat them. Kiyotaro is flabbergasted by Yamoda's gesture as it pertains to the test. During basketball practice, Kiyotaro can't seem to fathom this strange feeling he has in his chest. Yamoda looks at Kiyotaro from afar and gets hurt by a basketball. The coach takes Yamoda to the nurse, and Kiyotaro trails behind them. Kiyotaro hides under the bed to listen to their conversation, as Yamoda calls her mother while crying. Yamoda drops her wallet, and Kiyotaro notices Yamoda keeps his drawing in it. Kiyotaro recounts all his meetups with Yamoda and realizes he's in love with her. Kiyotaro returns to class and overhears Adachi telling his friends he has samples of Yamoda's bloody tissues. Kiyotaro wants to say something to Adachi but stops since he has blood marks on his shirt. Suddenly, people ask Yamoda what happened to her nose, and she tells them she got hit with a basketball. Yamoda asks Kobayashi to write the reason for her accident on her bandage. Yamoda tells her friends she was worried that her nose would be crooked forever. She feels her manager and parents would have been disappointed in her. Kiyotaro leaves class and notices Yamoda ran out of tissues. Kiyotaro returns to the library and leaves several on the tables for Yamoda. He hides behind the bookshelf and watches Yamoda use the tissues while eating chips as the episode closes out.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.